Conviction. Yep, I was right. The individual who produced or directed or created that show was, in fact, guilty as charged. Rick and Morty is the perfect example of how dark humor is a psyop. I was
I guess that's not. I think that works. All right. Greetings, family. Let's see if that'll work. No. That's going to have to do. Greetings, family. This is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And we're just going to go ahead and jump right into tonight's live. I've got several things out I'm going to share with you this evening. I'm only going to be reading, and that's going to be my that's going to be my modus operandi from now on. Let's start with a little housekeeping. Which will be let's put that one away. My email address first, which is EvoEmeTemp @gmail.com. That's EvoEmeTemp @gmail.com. EvoEmeTemp @gmail.com. That email address, you can support the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence through Zelle or PayPal using EvoEmeTemp @gmail.com. You can send Cashapp donations at $DaughterOfTheFates. That's FATES. You can send Venmo support at Cassandra, CASSANDRA -Floyd, FLOYD. You can purchase awesome shit at DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. And I think that's it. You're going to have to forgive me. I've been sitting at this laptop for several hours. Actually, more than several. Many, many hours. I haven't seen the light of day today. But I'm going to eat because I'm starving. It's the first time I'm eating since, 8 o'clock this morning. So, anyway, some of you have had questions. Some of you have emailed me. Some of you have questioned me on other videos, suspecting that YouTube was playing with my channel. YouTube is not playing with my channel any more than it usually does. I told y'all last week with the last live that I did, which I think was Monday or Tuesday. And I've been threatening to do so for some time. That I was going to start downloading all my videos. And I was going to start yanking videos off my channel. And that's what I started doing last week. I am not done. I am going to be literally yanking videos off my channel. The videos are extraordinarily large files, hence the slow and methodical approach to that process. I'm only able to deal with the removal of about 3 to 4 videos a day because I'm also saving as attached files all of your comments and live contributions so that I have a frame of reference when I get ready to engage in the process of editing these videos, clipping, cutting these videos, reposting these videos in shorter shit. Shorter pieces or whatever. And uploading them to my Patreon and so on. So hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. I don't know what any of that is. Hmm. Same. Yeah. So I have to. I've been threatening to do this for a year, but I also stated it last week that I was going to start the slow and painful process of downloading all my videos from YouTube to back them up, and then to start removing everything from my channel that is not me reading. That I'm going to restructure my YouTube channel to be a page where I only read. After all these years, it is still, let's see. After all these years, I've had my YouTube channel. This channel, the videos that still get the most attention, that still get the most feedback, that are still actively engaged in the best way, are the videos where I have read books to you. To this day, I read The Great Cosmic Mother probably 5 years ago up on here. To today, literally today, I got like 8 comments from videos of me reading The Great Cosmic Mother to you all. So, in an attempt to make my channel do what I need it to do for me, because even some of the videos that I've been doing lately, they'll get 1,000 views. They'll get 2,000 views. And according to YouTube's, what you call it, excuse me, what's the word, man? according to my analytics, for every new video that I get 1,000 views from, 2,000 views from, and not one new subscriber for 1,000 views, not one new subscriber for 2,000 views. So YouTube is playing with my channel. And the only way that I can see, that not being the case, because I told you, I'm not going to self-censor. That is something I'm never going to do. I'm never going to self-censor. I'm not a child. I'm not going to bridle my tongue because I need to make money. So what I am going to do is to save the blade that is my tongue, for a Patreon. Save the blade that is my tongue for a private website. Because this channel has the ability to make me the money that I need to support my life. And right now it's not. Right now I'm making about $400 a month through this channel, through the subscriptions, people that are members, through the subscriptions, and through like the super chats, the super thanks, and then also those people who heed the call when I make the announcement, the housekeeping announcements about other ways that you can support the channel, the Etsy store for the temple, and the direct donations through Cashapp, PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle. And between that and my YouTube channel, like just the monthly deposit that I get from the direct deposit that I get from YouTube, which is your super chat, super thanks, and the memberships, it's about $400 a month. The direct donations that I get is about $200 a month, $200 to $225 a month. But there were times, especially earlier when I became monetized, like the closest that I ever got, like the most I ever made, let me put it that way, was an August. There was an August where I made a little over $1,000, and I haven't come close to that again. And because I will not self-censor, because I will not bridle my tongue, this is the stalemate, and I'm not accepting the stalemate. I'm not accepting the stalemate. And I've leveraged, I've done everything that I can to try to galvanize. I've done interviews with other channels that are much more successful than mine. For whatever reason, my live on, hold on, let me just X out of this live on IG because nobody's on here, which is not normal. And so usually it's some glitch in the matrix that is my IG. Greetings, Holistic Harmony. Actually, you know what? Let me just, yeah, let me do that. Yep. Let me change my, damn. Yeah, let me do that. I'm just trying to get my IG together. All right. Also, in terms of housekeeping, there's one other way. There's one other way that you can support my channel, which is to become a paid member of my YouTube channel, which for those of you tuning in through IG is Daughter of the Fates, Fates. Um, Daughter of the Fates is Fates. You can become a paid member, and there's like 6 tiers of subscription that you can, take advantage of. I think the cheapest one is like $2.99 or $5.99, something like that. Those are the ways that you can support my channel. It is not to be any kind of way. YouTube is going to do what YouTube is going to do. And because I am not going to ever, I've spent my whole life doing that, because I'm never going to self-censor. I have to shift gears. I have to shift gears at how I'm able to sustain my life with any level of integrity. And so what I have decided is that I will use my YouTube channel to do what has garnered the most excuse me, I want to take my tea. I'm going to read books. I'm going to read books that are the kind of books that I've gotten many comments are books that people have always wanted to read, but because we live in a society that is constantly trying to steal time from us, they may not have been able to find the time to read those books. Like The Great Cosmic Mother, I think the reason that it's so popular is because the book is like a 598-page book, and there were no audio books available for The Great Cosmic Mother. And so when I read the book, that was all the praise that I got, was like, I've always wanted to read this book, but there's no audio book. Thank you so much for doing this, right? There's several books. The book Communion, The Female Search for Love by Bell Hooks, I've read on here. Parable of the Sower. The other thing I'm not going to do, I'm going to read the books in the future the way that I read the Great Cosmic Mother. I'm going to do at least 1 hour read every day, optimally 2 hours separate. An hour during the daytime hours to just adjust for people's time schedules around the world. So 1 in the morning, 1 later in the evening, 1 hour each read, just as disciplined as I was when I read The Great Cosmic Mother. And the reason I'm doing all of this is because I can't keep complaining. I cannot keep complaining about knowing what the potential for the content that I deliver is, and seeing people, buy homes, have mortgages that their channels, their content create for them. And I'm telling you, I'm never going to work for free again. I'm never going to do that. And that's what I've been doing. I tried, I don't want to appear to have an attitude necessarily. It is a frustration that I have been unable to move through. And the reason why is to recognize the value of what it is you consistently offer, you consistently deliver, and recognizing, especially with the changing of the tide, with the shift in the energy that is the United States of America right now. and to recognize that several things, as a matter of fact, but to recognize in particular that what I have done over the last 25 plus years under the quote auspice of being so convicted to change the world, so convicted to make a difference, that I, under the auspice of quote volunteering, I have been working for free for way too many years, delivering for free what I currently am $285,000 in student loan debt for. I didn't get the information and the experience and the life experience that I have for free at all. At all. Like, at all. Nobody offered me for free what I perpetually find myself delivering for free, offering for free. As a matter of fact, I started teaching a political education process last week. I have to write a letter this week because I was like, why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Why do I understand the rationale. Why do I feel so compelled? Because the information that I have, the peculiar experiences that I can see instantly, clearly when what I have in my life experience can create a shift in a community over here, can give people the missing link that they need to literally have a breakthrough that they were unable to have, incapable of having, because there was so much missing from their understanding. And so, because I feel so compelled, because I am so convicted, because I am certain that we are on the brink of a transformative shift that can sweep through the entire globe instantly. But I'm not going to do it. That's the declaration I had to make today. That's the shit I had to work with all week last week. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to work for free ever again. Ever again. It is the unspoken low-level expectation of every Black woman with any kind of skills, with any kind of genius, with any kind of I'm not the only one. I'm just the one making the declaration today. I'm not the one. I'm just the one saying I'm not going to work for free anymore. Fuck that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I made the declaration some time ago that y'all love it when I keep it live, when I keep it $120. You know what I'm saying? When I keep it honest, when I don't self-censor. I said, okay, cool, because I like getting up on here and being in a vibe, working in a rhythm. I said, so let's just get in the habit of every single person that comes onto my live, donate $1. Donate $1 to $2 every time you log on. Just $1 to $2. And if everybody that logs on does that, makes that singular commitment, which is nothing, which is 4 quarters or 8 quarters, that if everybody consistently does that, don't even become a member if you don't want to. Just everybody say, okay, when this woman here is live, I'm going to donate $1 to $2. That would pay my bills. That would free me up to go to do the work that most of you do not have the ability to do. Most of y'all do not have the ability. Let me backtrack. Are not capable because of life to take the kind of risk with your life that I've taken to do these deep dives, to stay in a perpetual state of ceremony, to keep myself wide open, to do the thousands of hours of writing and researching I have been doing. We don't have that. And so I said, okay, if you like what I'm putting down, if you appreciate in any way what I'm putting down, make that commitment. That if you ain't gonna do nothing else, if you ain't gonna share my stuff, if you ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't gonna become a paid subscriber, do the bare minimum. Give me 4 quarters or 8 quarters every time you watch my live. There will be 65, 110, 275 people watching live. I just told y'all that every single video that I've been putting out for the last 6 months has been getting 1,000. I think the lowest number so far that I went through with my analytics was 650 views for the lives that I've delivered over the last 6 months. Yet I did an 8-hour live that I just rewatched today. An 8-hour live that I did 2 weeks ago. And that's a day's work, by the way. That's a full day. I did an 8-hour live and I made $65. $65 for an 8-hour live. I can go and work at McDonald's for that. And I re-listened to the live today, which I really do. I really go back over very recent lives. I really just go through, like if y'all send me a timestamp or whatever, I just go through, you understand, do the timestamp, listen to what drew your attention in this timestamp and be like, oh, damn, that's dope. That's right on time. Today I went back to this live that I did recently. What was it called? Like something about subduing the rogue sun. It was maybe 2 weeks ago or something that I did the live. This 8-hour live that I did. And I went back over that live. Distraught. I went back and listened to that entire 8-hour live distraught. And I was distraught because I spent my whole life reducing myself in response to other people's shit. My whole life. They didn't mean to. They were just working with what they had. But when I say I spent my whole life, my earliest memories, making myself smaller, reducing myself, folding myself in on myself to ensure that everybody around me was comfortable with me, reducing, making small, keeping quiet. What I knew was something giant with me. I was a child. A child. I was 10, maybe younger than that, 8. Now, I clear picture printed memories of my childhood. And I remember the first time I ever said to myself, I feel too big for the body I am in. Crystal clear. I felt trapped. I felt encaged in the body that I was in. That was the only way I could make sense for what I was experiencing in my little baby body with no concepts, no narratives, no words to help me articulate what I was experiencing. So the only thing I kept saying in my head is, I feel too big for the body that I am in. I spent my whole life being chopped up and chopped down by family members who I know love me, but because I was too big for the body that I was in, their only frame of reference for how to, quote, protect me, keep me safe, or whatever, was to ridicule, was to hurt my feelings, was to call me names, was to tell me my forehead was too big, was to tell me my nose. These family members, these ain't outsiders, these family members tell me my nose was too big, why I'm too masculine at 8, why I'm too masculine at 10, why I'm too masculine at 12, why my body looked too grown. To have the unmitigated, unfiltered scrutiny of adults claiming to love me, seeing the need to chop me up, chop me down, and me responding in like. That if I'm invisible, nobody will chop me up. that if I am invisible, no one will see the need to chop me down. Responding responding accordingly, my whole life, my whole life, my whole life, my whole life. So even as I am developing genius, my whole life, teenage years, childhood years, a young adult, older adult, medical school, freaking husband, kids, not my own, in my own, doing the work of 10 human beings to perpetually demonstrate that at some period in my life, at some moment in my life, someone is going to appreciate the giant that I am. At some moment, I will meet the me. I will meet the moment. I will meet the me where the world accepts the giant that I knew I was at 8. And I'm talking about me, but I know there is nobody listening that has not felt the same way. I know that. There is not a person listening who at some point in their life has not felt the same way. I bet money on it. It may have presented itself differently. It may have felt differently, but that is what you are experiencing. And so I said, I'm not going to do it. I spent, that's what the volunteer work was. Hell, it was the reason that I went to medical school, truth be told, was to finally prove once and for all that I have value too. I too have value. For that to be used against me, for medical school to be used against me, for the genius that I became as a consequence of medical school, as a consequence of 15 years in a cadre style organization, as a socialist, for the lifetime of genius that I acquired as a consequence of becoming a mother, a grandmother, a mother to whom did not have mothers. To be at this moment, I said, I'm not going to do it. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. So in order for that to be the case, in order for me to meet the me that is the moment that I imagined I would meet at 8 years old, there's some conclusions I had to come to over the last week. There were some commitments that I had to make to myself about what I would and would not do. And the main one that I have been the most guilty of my whole life as an adult, even before I quote became conscious, this was a violent habit that I had, was in order to demonstrate my love, in order to demonstrate my care, in order to demonstrate that I feel like we can win, the world can be better. This is how I can contribute, is to work for free, is to quote volunteer here and there and to and fro. I'm 50 years old, and I've told y'all my story online. I've shared everything with y'all. I ain't kept no I ain't kept no secrets. And so y'all know I'm still facing eviction. I still have another court date next month. I just had the miracle of a period to recalibrate. But I'm still facing eviction in this city, in this third wealthiest city in the country, in the fifth wealthiest city on earth. And so here I am trying to imagine in my mind the miracle that I need to meet in this moment to secure my life for the next spell. And I'm like, girl, your ass is still facing eviction and you are still volunteering. I did that when I moved here. I lived in my car 6 months. I volunteered every Saturday. Every Saturday for 5 hours. I volunteered every single solitary Saturday for 6 months while I was living in my car. Nobody that I was volunteering with knew I was living in my car. Nobody. Wasn't their business to know. This was something I felt convicted to do. This is the thing that I can do while I'm trying to figure out what it's going to mean for me to live in LA. Because I had this whole epiphany about how LA is home and I ain't made no preparations. Bumping. I'm casting fate to the wind and I'm going to become a citizen of LA. I volunteered every Saturday. I was at that place, at that church, every Saturday at 6 o'clock in the morning, volunteering. I don't have no regrets about it, by the way. It was awesome work. But again, it's just in hindsight recognizing I've done thousands of hours of volunteering in the city. I'm not exaggerating. Thousands of I got goosebumps everywhere. Thousands of hours of volunteering in the city with amazing organizations. Many organizations in the city. Just a wealth of extraordinary experiences. I'm not going to do it. That's all I got to say about that. I'm not going to work for free again, ever. I've done that. I intend to contribute for free. That's the bottom line. I am not. As a matter of fact, I have one more story to tell. Without going into too much detail, I was extremely disappointed this week. I didn't think that I could experience that level of disappointment again, that I feel like I'm pretty sharp, pretty up on game. I have been much more deliberate about paying attention to my life lessons. And someone that I've known since the year 2001. Long time. Economically well positioned, this person in a partner. Known me my whole adult life consistently. Called me in a crisis. I'm telling you, my spirit and my flesh, they are one, boo. Because as soon as I got the message, my flesh said, send the thing that you send to anybody that calls you to get a reading, anybody that calls you to get a consult, send before you even take the call, send this to them. I did not. I said, this the ace, this the homie. I known this upstanding, upright citizen since 2001. This is a crisis. Let me show up. And on the other end, I know the right thing will be done because this is an upright citizen. For a wellness consultation, I charge $225 for 1 hour. That provides a write-up of everything that I'm already going to walk you through. I was on this call with this person for an hour and a half. Everything I'm telling them, like, oh my God, I wish I would have called you sooner. After the call, I sent the 411, the information that my flesh told me, not spirit. My flesh said, send this before you even take the call. I did not charge you what I charge for consults, but here is my information in the event that you would like to send me a donation. That was last Sunday. From that day to this, not $1, not $50, not 10 cents. And I will be honest, as personally, as deeply as I've known this human and his family and his work, it was like being punched so hard in the face it shook my teeth loose. That's what it felt like. I said, okay. I said, I see what I'm dealing with here. So that was the last straw. That was the last straw. I'd already declared to y'all. I'd already said that last week. I'm going to start reading. I know we already 40 minutes in, but this is what I have to declare before I get into this place. I'm going to start reading. And while I'm reading, I'm going to yank. Because this is the other thing. This is the last thing I'm going to say about it. I am consistently enraged when somebody that I know personally, somebody here, there, whatever, any of y'all, because this has happened with y'all too, sends me an email, sends me a text, sends me, something where they have been following me long enough to know I saw this the other day and I ain't heard it nowhere else but here. So I know this person has stolen from you. You need to watch this. I can't count how many times that's happened. I can't count how many times. I cannot count how many times that has happened. I cannot count. Meanwhile, every time I teach, I'm always pulling through. I'm always referencing. I'm always saying so and so. Well, according to so and so and so and so and this and that. According to so and so and so and so and this and that. I'm always referencing. So y'all know the difference between something that I am talking about, even if I'm weaving it into what I'm teaching you, because I'm always referencing where I got it from. So y'all know the difference between where something that is mine, that comes through an obvious ceremony, that is me coming up on here, and something that somebody else has contributed to this breakthrough that I'm having. But don't nobody do that for me. Don't nobody do that with my content. Just lay up in my shit, seeing what they can extract and steal. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna work for free. I'm not gonna live as a pauper watching other people steal from me. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not going to be one of the thousands of Black women who die in obscurity and poverty while somebody else benefits from their work. It's not going to be me. So I have to stop working for free. So, like I said, and I will continue. So if there is something that you like that I have done, you might want to consider, whatever it is you're going to do, because I am snatching all this shit the hell up off here. It may take me some time because the files are so big, but I am snatching anything that is not me reading a book on this YouTube channel is coming the hell up off of here. This is the last time I will tell you. This is the last time I will warn you. I am not angry with those of you who have been following me for any period of time, where there's been 2 weeks or 6 years. But what I am saying is I am not working for free ever. Again, as a matter, I gotta draft this damn letter tonight for this political education series I just committed to teach, and I started last week, and I am literally delivering gold in this space with no return at all. No return. And that's the expectation with us. That's the expectation, that we're so convicted. We Black women, we so convicted. We are filled with so much love that we just happy to give away our life force for free. And that's the expectation from everywhere. That's the expectation from everywhere. I get to see on the regular basis things that I put out in the world that wouldn't even occur to others. And then suddenly, whatever. Anyway, there were a couple of events that helped me to understand That one, every word that comes out of my mouth will be paid for. I will be compensated for. I will never again work for free. I will never again from my mouth. I'm so glad today is the new moon. I'm so glad today is the new moon. Because I will never again in this life work for free. I will never again in this life offer anything for free. We have done more than enough of that. My mother has done more than enough of that. My grandmothers have done more than enough of that. My great grandmothers, my great great grandmothers, I, as a personification of all the mothers in my line, I will never betray them again. I will never, that's what it is. It's an act of betrayal. I will never betray the women of my line again by seeing that somehow my value in the world must be proven by my willingness to work for free when they were made to, when they were when their life force was literally stolen while they generated wealth out of their own bodies. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. Not for nobody. Not for nobody. My children, my grandchildren, my mother. That's it. That's the only people who can expect to get my last living grandparent. That's the only people who can expect to get anything from me. And even then, it ain't for free. It is because I owe them everything. I will never do this shit again. I will never be in this situation again. I will never let this wicked ass institution convince me. I will never do this shit again. I will never do it again. And so I want you to be clear. What you are experiencing, what you are witnessing as real rage, as genuine frustration, is always with this system. It's always with the state. It's always with patriarchy. I am perpetually outraged with patriarchy. That is the enemy. That is the adversary. And that adversary is responsible for every ail that presents itself in the world. Everything wrong with the planet, everything wrong with the world, everything wrong with us can be laid squarely at the feet of patriarchy. That does not mean that we as individuals do not play our peculiar role as the many patriarchs in our messed up relationships with one another. And so because I know that we are all patriarchs, and I know that because patriarchy hates Black women more than anybody else on earth, I will have to be speaking to every last one of your and my patriarchs and its different personifications to tell you don't ever expect me to do anything else for free. Never, 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 never again. Never again. Never again. Never again. Never again. And so, that being the case, I'm yanking everything the hell up off of here, except the books that I have read, the books that I will continue to read. That's what this whole channel will be. That way I don't have to worry about cleaning up my language. Here you go. Here are books that I know that you otherwise wouldn't have the time to read. I will read them to you. I will read them just as they are. If you are interested in engaging in a discussion about what I have read with you, then we will do Zoom book club discussions that will be paid. That's the only way we're going to do this. Because I'm not some random person just up on here because I think I'm cute or some shit. That's not me. I'm a professor. I'm a professor. I don't just have the degrees to make that declaration as if it matters. I have the peculiar life experience. I have the degrees. I have all of this experience. That makes me audacious. Y'all ain't got no problem with white arrogance, white certainty, white expressions of genius. I am audaciously, arrogantly, bodaciously declaring that I am a professor and I will get paid accordingly. That's it. That's it. That's all. And so, in order for me to create this universe for myself, where I get paid accordingly, for the genius that I am always so willing to share with others because I see it organically, materially purposeful, and useful in the lives of human beings, I have to create this universe. And as a part of that, that is why you are experiencing what you are experiencing. I listened to that 8-hour live today. I had so many feelings. I had so many simultaneous feelings. I was subdued up in here. I had a whole plan of things I was going to get done today. And I sat up in here and listened to that live, and I was subdued. Because I was like, no one is going to tell me that this is not genius. That this is not just genius. That this is something that will live forever. People will be listening to that 8-hour live, among others, will be going in 100 years from now. I'm this certain. The same way we do it now. Oh my gosh, this great Black woman whose name we all should know, but just don't. This great genius Black woman, Hidden Figures. This genius great Black woman for which this would be impossible, and that would be impossible, and this would be who names we don't know. I won't be that. I refuse it. And so 100 years from now, they'll be pulling up recordings of mine saying how they didn't know. How could they not see when she was so clear? I listened to that 8-hour live today in tears. Because I'm telling y'all, I be having whole ass out-of-body experiences up on here. I'm listening to myself, and I don't hear myself. All I hear is the mother. All I hear, when I say the mothers, I mean embodied. All I hear is my big mama. All I hear is my grandmother Helen. All I hear is my father. All I hear is my mama Jacqueline Jeanette Fudge. All I hear is my sister. That's all I hear is the mother coming through in a million different ways, contributing in a moment. Something that somebody else needed to change their life. I listened to that 8-hour live today. And the first thing I asked myself out loud is how do you not right this moment already have everything you need? And it's because I work for free. And I'm not doing it. So I'm yanking it all off. It is not valued. Let me clarify. It is not valued, but by a minuscule few. It is not valued. This college level daily dissertations I'm laying in a language that you can all clearly understand, and it is not valued. And I can see when I am not valued. I can see when the work that I am doing, I have to force myself not to learn. Because I'm telling you, I've been disgusted for some time. I've been disgusted for some weeks now, trying to reconcile what I am experiencing, feeling guilty while feeling rage, feeling like I'm being messed up. Like, why are you being like that? Why you facing a court date in just 3 weeks? Me going to war with myself, the perpetual giver at her own expense. That ain't just education. That ain't just words. That ain't just learning. Donating to others' campaigns when I know all I got is $50 in my damn checking account to my name. That type of shit regularly. Well, at least I got more than the next person. So, let me go on. I know I only got $50, but let me go ahead and give these $10 to this. And I'm not the only Black woman that does it. There are whole statistics that this country keeps on how Black people in general though they acknowledge that it would take the Black community 4,000 years to, quote, 4,000 years to close the gap in wealth between Black people, Black families, and white families, that it would take 4,000 years to close the gap. Meanwhile, of all these institutions called churches in this country, Black people donate more money to nonprofits and churches than any other group of people in this country consistently. But y'all hate us all. More than any group of people in this country consistently every year, despite the aggressions against our lives, despite the aggressions against our money, despite the aggressions against us in educational systems and the judicial, Black people still carry so much inherent belief in the need for goodness. They're more than any group of people in this country. Black people donate to more nonprofits, to more churches, contribute more collectively than any group of people on earth. At least here, but I'm sure it's on earth. It's what you've all come to expect. And I'm just not the one today. It's not the one. I'm just not the one. So what I had to do was these different events that happened over the last week, this perpetual frustration and simultaneous guilt about my decision. That's some real head play type of shit. The simultaneous guilt about having to make a declaration like that. Even my homegirl Annie was like, damn, I feel the same way. Like, how I'm going to be doing all this stuff for free, volunteering here and there and to and fro, and I'm broke. I'm poor. And what did she say? She said, what I said was, yeah, I can't do it no more. I was talking to her. I was like, I can't do it no more. I said, I'll be more than willing and more than happy to do all the volunteering that I've been doing all these years at my expense when I'm rich. I'm not donating nothing else. I ain't contributing no more, quote, free time until I'm rich. Period. Until, and what my definition of rich, my definition of wealth is non-parasitic wealth, non-exploitative wealth. I'm not talking about opulence. I'm talking about abundance that is my birthright. You feel me? So anyway, so I had to make some decisions about the kind of time that I was spending on here. See, we're already at an hour. So I'm going to get 2 more minutes in of this. I'm going to wrap it up and I'm going to read for an hour. And that's going to be it. I'm going to say good night. So just so you know, just so you are reminded in case you forgot at the last live that I did, I am going to be pulling every single solitary video up off my YouTube channel that is not me reading. I will be dumping it into my hard drive, where then over time I will be doing edits and chopping and maybe dumping on my Patreon some videos, not full videos, some videos, this and that of stuff that I pulled up off of here. I will be organizing, developing, working on an apprenticeship program, an initiation process through the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. This will be the place that you are able to get complete videos. These videos I will be compiling over time, figuring out how I'm gonna do it, because I'm gonna have to do it. At figuring out how to, get the like the what we used to have to getting transcriptions off these videos, compiling transcriptions off these videos so that I can begin the process of publishing books. So if you want to revisit what breakthrough that I had, you can buy the book. That's just what it's got to be. Okay, I'm 50 years old. I'm going to be 51 in a few months, and I'm not going to do this shit again. I'm not going to live this life again. This bullshit, I'm not doing it. So that's it. That's all I got on that. Tonight, because it is the new moon, because it is your funky ass president's birthday, because these people have been playing in your face for several weeks, and I told you they were going to, with this movie that came out Friday, Disclosure Day, with and I want to say today, there was so much that I wanted to talk to y'all about, but I'm not going to do this for free. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to do this for free. And so I said, you know what? I'm just not going to study. I'm not going to do the kind of deep diving. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to drive myself crazy in here. I'm not going to have these people come up in my place being like, we need to institutionalize this woman, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I was like, well, I just have to hold my tongue about what I see is valuable and important and people need to know. Obviously, they don't value it as much as I do. So why am I spinning my wheels? The one thing that I will say that I was prepping for today is June 14th. And because this administration has been succeeding. Let me correct. Has been succeeding to diligently wipe your memory clean through the proliferation of noise, like that dollarless, penniless bum named Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire on Disclosure Day. I said, I see you. Did you know? I will say this. Did you know? Because I was like, this at 9:30 in the morning was when it was declared that this pig monster became a trillionaire, right? 9:30 a.m. Eastern time is when it was announced that he became a trillionaire. And this is on the day that Disclosure Day was released. Because I kept telling y'all that movie is not about aliens. I kept telling you that movie is not about aliens. It's a distraction. Look deeper into the movie. The movie, I haven't even seen the movie. The movie is not about aliens. The aliens is the draw. The aliens is the distraction. The movie is not about aliens. So I'm just looking at the poster promos. I'm just looking at the images. I'm just looking at the trailers. I'm like, okay, well, there's 4 animals. Remember me saying the stag, the red cardinal, the red fox, and the raccoon. I was like, why are these animals so prominently featured in a movie about aliens? Then I remembered the Obama's movie, What? Leave the World Behind, and there were stags everywhere. I was like, why is the stags so heavy in this movie? What is this movie trying to? Remember what I was saying? That for months these promos all over the city. I was like, they are plotting something big for the 12th and through the 14th, because Trump's birthday is on the 14th. I said they plotting something, and we are talking about everything but what it is they plotting, right? Remember me saying that last week? And it was like nothing I expected. 9:30 in the morning. Quote this: he is a bum. He is not rich. He is not rich. He is not a trillionaire. You have to start rewriting the script. He is not a trillionaire. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a penniless bum. He's a bum who has happened to perfect the art of grand theft. That's it. He is not rich. He has stolen wealth. But you say the same thing about kings and emperors. They were not rich. They have mastered the art of what do you call it? Grand theft wages, grand theft auto, grand theft land, grand theft homes, grand theft life force. All they have done is perfected the art of brute freaking grand theft. They are not rich. Just because they steal somebody else's wealth does not make them rich. It makes the wealthy, it makes the abundant robbed, which informs you of something different. If somebody black boot stomps the door into your home to come at gunpoint and rob you, and you get out of this situation with your life steal, what's the first thing you doing? If you got any common sense. If you got any common sense, what's the first thing you doing? You plotting, scheming, strategizing on how to go get your shit back. That's the first thing you're doing. What do I remember? Were they wearing masks? How did they smell? What did they sound like? Did we get any recordings in the house from secret cameras that they didn't know about? The first thing you might, if you stupid, that's my personal position. If you stupid, you might call the police and they come in and do some little fingerprints and say, okay, well, we'll just see what happened. You might do that. But if y'all got any common sense, if somebody black boot stomp they way into your house and steal from you and rob you, if you leave with your life, the first thing you're doing is plotting and scheming on how you about to go get your shit back. That's it. That's it. Every moment of your life is spent on how I'm about to go get my shit back. What do I need to do? Who do I need to corral into my conspiracy to ensure that at the end of this little project I am engaged in, I have my shit back? And ain't none of us done that. And so your ignorance, because that's all it is, your ignorance would convince you that Elon Musk became a trillionaire on Friday. Your ignorance, your stupidity, your cowardice would convince you that there are 3,600 and some odd billionaires on earth. You would not only, in your ignorance and your cowardice and your stupidity, actually believe in your brain that there are 3,600 and some odd billionaires on earth, but you would go the distance and golf clap when the announcement is made. And you would go the distance in your stupidity, in your cowardice, in your ignorance to deify those who have perfected the art of literally robbing life. There are no billionaires on earth. There are no trillionaires on earth. That does not exist. It is a myth of grand proportion. There are no billionaires. There are no, what you call them, centimillionaires. There ain't no such an animal. Ain't no such a creation. What there are thieves and bandits that we have elevated to God status and do not challenge for the theft of life, the theft of wealth, the theft of labor, the theft of, quote, wages, the theft of land, the theft of water, the theft of resources. That's what has not happened. You would allow these global bandits, in your ignorance and your stupidity and your cowardice and your education, you would allow these bandits to live in the world, to move in the world, to exist in the world unscathed and never have to even look over their shoulders. Not only would you do that, at the same time that you elevate them to God status, you would turn in on yourself, comparing yourself to them and seeing that your life is the evidence of some inherent weakness on your parts. Because if they can become rich, what is wrong with me? There are no billionaires. There are no billionaires. There are no billionaires, only thieves. There are no trillionaires. There are no trillionaires, only thieves. There are no centimillionaires. There are no centimillionaires. They're only thieves. There is no government of the people, only weapons. There is no CIA, FBI, ATF, DEA, WHO. What's the other one? UNICEF. I don't give a hell. There are no beneficent organizations looking out for the greater good. Not one. Not one. Not nowhere. Not nowhere. Not while patriarchy remains. There is no benevolent government, no benevolent institutions. No, there is no bullshitting ass concept known as democracy anywhere on the whole of the globe. It does not exist. It doesn't exist. There is no America the Great, land of the free and home of the brave. It's a myth of grand proportion. There are no billionaires. There are no millionaires. There are no centimillionaires. There are no trillionaires. Only thieves. Only thieves. And if you can accept that you have been robbed, that your parents have been robbed, that your grandparents have been robbed, that your great-grandparents have been robbed, that your great-great-grandparents have been robbed, that your great-great-great-grandparents have been robbed, then it should inform you of what you should be doing, the conclusion that you should be coming to about how a mediocre, ignorant, stupid, foul, freaking excuse for a human being, somebody just sucking up oxygen, wasting existence, named Elon Musk, named what's the Peter Thiel, what's the other, what's his Donald J. Trump, what's his J.D. Vance, what's it, what, who else? Name them. Name them. The fact that none of you even question the existence of an organization like the CIA, the fact that none of you even question the validity of an existence of an organization called the FBI, you just assume it's supposed to be that way. You just assume with all you know that these institutions have done to you and your life. You tell the stories every day about this person being disappeared, about these 9 scientists disappearing, about the 100 and something 9 doctors didn't disappear, about Fred Hampton being murdered at 24 years old in his bed while he was asleep because a pig fronting as his chief of security poisons his goddamn Kool-Aid, and these pigs come in and shoot him however many 30 something time while he was asleep because they were afraid. And you still don't even question what has the FBI done for you? What has the FBI done for the United States of America? What has for the security and the safety of the United States of America? What has the CIA done for you? What is the CIA, when the CIA can tell you, we have poisoned you. We put shit in the air so that we can have regular test subjects. That's not, I'm concluding. I'm telling you, when they quote release their own redacted papers and tell you in your face, yeah, we poisoned the whole little city outside of Sacramento because we needed to see how they would respond to low levels of this biological agent that we wanted to use in big levels somewhere the hell else. What has the CIA done for you lately, MK Ultra? What has the CIA done for you lately? What has the FBI done for you lately, King Code Alpha Plane? What has the police done for you lately? Bombings of Tulsa, Oklahoma, the first aerial assault on U.S. soil. Man. So y'all, under the quote crunch of the crisis created to mathematical precision to ensure that at this period you would be poor enough that you would do things against your own integrity. So most of you Negroes, and I know you did, because I remember when you did it when Elon Musk released Tesla. I know you did because when the invisible person released Bitcoin, it was brothers and sisters, people who look just like me, who supposedly, up on game politically and shit, who went out and made these investments. Well, it's gonna happen, and it's in the stock market. We might as well invest so we can grow this community wealth. And I know you did. So as soon as SpaceX went live on Friday to make this pariah, this parasite of what's the word I want to use? This parasite of grand proportion, Elon Musk. Just because a parasite getting fat don't mean he rich, bitch. But I know if I was to do some investigation, there'd be some black skinned, so-called self-proclaimed conscious folk who was like, well, you gotta see the writing on the wall. You gotta secure your little wealth. So I just went ahead and made my little, what was it, $125 invest into SpaceX just so I can get these coins. Had them same brothers and sisters tell me the same shit when he released the Tesla. I said, suspect to me. I don't know nothing about it, but seems suspect to me. And lo and behold, here we are. Your suffering got this dude a title on Disclosure Day of a damn trillionaire. And the reason I mentioned Disclosure Day and how I was like, this suspect. Those of you who are tuning in on my IG live, I don't know why it's so short, but they about to cut my feed off in 21 seconds. So I will X up off of here as soon as it's done and bring up another live. But let me tell you why I brought up Elon Musk and Disclosure Day. Did you know? Because the first thing I did that morning when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. This was the disclosure. Let me pause on that before I do this and bring up this dude live. Because y'all think I'll be up in here tripping, imagining shit that ain't real. That's what y'all think. Right? And if I be putting down the same exact verbatim shit that I would be putting down now and putting it down, and I had a dick, I'd be like, damn, that motherfucker's always ahead of the curve. How they see that? How they see that? I'm telling you, I know y'all. You're predictable. I know you. If I'd had a penis putting down everything that I have been putting down in the last 3 weeks, because I sat up in here dismayed, baby, listening to that 8-hour live I did. I was like, man, this is nothing short of genius. How did I see that? Man, I need to stop and take some notes on what I said. And I was like, no, what I need to do is yank this shit up off here. Because it's, what do they call it? Casting pearls to swine. That's what it is. I'm saying, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Let me tell you what I was still laying in the bed Friday morning when my daughter sent me the text about Elon Musk being declared a trillionaire. I said, oh, okay. This was what it was. This was what it was about. And now I just need the evidence that I'm not tripping, that this disclosure day BS, right, was about the completion of the hostile takeover of the United States government, because that's what it was. It was a coup. Palantir, what's the other dude name? Alex Karp, Palantir, Alex Karp, BlackRock, Blackstone, Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance, what's the other dude? Hegseth, whatever his name is, the dude over the FBI, the Indian sellout dude over the FBI. This was actually a hostile, brute force coup of the United States government, of the wealthiest, quote, one of the wealthiest countries on earth, for the sole purpose of robbing that country. That's all. So when you talking about how can they do this to abortion, how can they do this to our 401k, how can they do this to Medicaid, and all these people need help, how can they do it, how can they just, because they told you in your face, we came here to rob this bitch. We came here to rob America. Everything that y'all done built, we came to rob. We came to rob that. Didn't they tell you in your face that within the first 8 months of his presidency, he had quote, earned $4 billion? Where do you think where do you think $4 billion just came from? Did it fall out the sky? Did the Federal Reserve just print new money? Do you think that there is nothing energetically backing this newly printed money that he done galvanized $4 billion? Where do you think the $4 billion came from? Did you even stop to ask, where did the $88 billion that they just tend to be sending every 8 months to the I country and to what's the other place? Ukraine. Where do you think that came from? Where do you think that came from? It was literally a smash and grab, and you will call it everything but what it is. You will not see, you will think, you say he destroying America. How he destroying America? He robbing America blind. Who is he robbing blind when he robbing America blind? You wage workers who create everything of value in this country. You have been robbed, and you will blame everybody but the criminals who literally rolled up January 6th with arms and militarized you in your ignorance, had you march up to the Capitol as a little demonstration of what was to come. That was just the what you call it? That was just the rehearsal of what was to come. January 6th. That was just a rehearsal of what was to come, just to feel out the legitimate. Are these white people really about what they say they about? That if we do this and this and this and this, will they really storm the Capitol with their guns and everything? They did that. Oh, we might have something here. Let's not get too overzealous. Let's plot, plan, and strategize, because once this old head take these little 4 years, that'll give us time to regroup. So when we come back, we already see the technique. We already peeped this technique. You feel me? And so these all too eager and willing, regular, everyday poor and working class white people who we just robbed blind, we know they'll be the first ones jolly on the spot. Jolly on the spot. Jolly on the, let me tell you what came through my memories today. Let me show you. I said, boy, let me tell you about this algorithm, these memories. And let me tell you what came through my memories today. Let's see if I can find it. Because I said, let me see. Let's see. Today. I said, come on in the room. I was like, come on up in here in the room with these memories. This came through today. Let's see. Okay, yes, where's that? I said, look, I guess I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. I said, oh my God, these algorithms be something else. Even drawing up your own memories off something you was just talking about. Hold on, where's that? Here it is. Let me see if I can brighten the screen so y'all can see it. Here it is. I was just talking about this. I think to y'all on the last live. This is a picture of Donald Trump and people being interviewed by People magazine in 1998. This is his quote from an interview with People magazine in 1998. If I were to ever run for president, I'd run as a Republican. They're the dumbest group of voters in the country. They believe anything on Fox News. I could lie and they'd still eat it up. I bet my numbers would be terrific. That is, I don't know if you're okay, there it is. Yeah, that's his little, my screen. I don't know why this computer screen is always so iffy with this glare. But anyway, there he is. Saying, even because why? Trump has always been, up until he ran for president, had always been a registered voting Democrat. He's like, but I'm sharp. I see the writing on the wall. If I ever, this is 1998. If I ever needed to run for office, I would have to run as a Republican if I intended to win. And even when this was made public, people was like, we still gonna vote for him. Yeah, it might have been messed up what he said, but we still gonna vote for him. We still gonna vote for him. And so I'm just saying, the thing about Vance, I mean not Vance, that boy, that mediocre weirdo, Elon Musk, who was declared a trillionaire on Disclosure Day. And I was like, oh, this is what the movie was about. It was a distraction. This is what the movie was about. Think I'm joking? Remember I was telling y'all last week, like I have to go into this deep dive about why the stag, why the red cardinal, why the raccoon, and why the red fox. Guess what? Oh my God. Guess what? Did you know that I searched the etymology for Elon Musk's name? I'm not going to pull up my notes because I didn't intend to be teaching this long. But I pulled out. I did a little search just for when that came out that day that he, quote, became a trillionaire. I was like, that's what this movie is about. I said, well, let me search the etymology for his name. And his last name, Musk, is the short version is Musk is related to stag, to the word stag. A stag is a adult male deer, an adult male deer whose antlers have fully come in. It is the antlers of an adult male deer that makes him qualified as a stag. But what were the other three? It was there were 4 other animals that are also considered stags, and I can't remember one because my brain is too overrun. What was it? It's 4 other animals. What was it? I can't remember. One was a red fox. So you got the stag, which is an adult male deer with full antlers, and a red fox. How? That's 2 of the animals in Disclosure movie. Elon Musk Musk means stag. Adult male deer with full antlers. The name Musk means stag. And stag is a prominent feature in this movie, quote, disclosure day. I said there are no coincidences. That's how they use symbolism to play in your face. That's how they do that. That's how they do that. You can't convince me otherwise. Even his first name means oak tree, but there was another breakdown that was animal symbolism. I don't remember, and I'm not gonna get up and I'm never gonna talk about it again like this. But because it is the new moon, I was like, let me share that with them. Now, something else came to me over the weekend, trying to prepare to, do something live or whatever. And I'm not going to talk anymore about it. I'm just going to read the things that came to me, not through me, to me, um, while I was attempting to betray myself and, quote, teach today. So I'm just gonna now shift gears and I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read for an hour, and that's going to be the method. Now, the first thing that I'm going to read will probably be the only thing that I read, but um, it's from this book. This is the first time I'm ever even reading anything from the book, just because I have so many books that I have to, like eventually crack open. But it was timely, especially how it came out. So much happened this weekend. So much. So much. So much. So much. So much. So much happened this weekend. But what I'm going to share with you is from this book that I didn't even know the nature of the book. I bought the book because I buy a lot of books that I haven't even gotten into yet. But it was just interesting because I had all these books. It was crazy. All right. I'm going to share something with you that happened last night. It was last night. Saturday, Friday and Saturday night. I'm going to share something with you. And I hesitate because I'm telling you, I know it's important. I wanted to say one more thing. Today is the anniversary of the murder of Medgar Evers, who was a civil rights activist in Mississippi, a really brilliant man, a hero, a champion of Black people in the demand, just not even the demand, the request for basic human rights here in the United States government, and for him having the audacity to request peacefully basic human liberties for us. He was murdered in his front yard in front of his wife and children. That was today. 60 years ago. So I wanted to make sure that before the clock struck 12, that I spoke Medgar Evers' name out loud. All hail Medgar Evers. May his unavenged blood hear what I am saying, and may he be able to receive the justice he was denied in life. We're gonna have to start calling up. Remember, I did that whole live a couple of weeks ago about hungry ghosts. Remember that? We're gonna have to start calling up the hungry ghosts that have been denied vengeance, that have been denied revenge, that have been denied redemption. We're gonna have to start calling up the hungry ghosts. I had to mention him because on this day that everybody's talking about this malignant pariah and in the institution that he is the figurehead of on his birthday, and I guarantee you, nobody has said the name of Medgar Evers today. And I wanted to make sure that I hopefully wasn't a long voice, but if so, that my voice was heard saying the name of the mighty Medgar Evers, thanking him for what he saw as the only way to secure a future for his family, for us, peaceful giant that he was. Now we have lessons to learn about what peace gets you in the midst of all and all out warfare assault. Peace, what peace gets you is what happened to this baby last week with an all white jewelry in 2026. How can that even happen in 2026? A child be sentenced to 35 years in prison by an all white jury in 2026 because a bunch of rogue ass white boys bum rush him by himself. Cowards that they are, cowards they were taught to be by their parents. And one of them happens to get exactly what he bargained for. And so they send a baby to prison for 35 years. A 14-year-old baby gets shot in the back by an Asian with a white boy in his head, and he gets off. Another Asian shoots a 6-year-old in the arm from the window of his home, and he gets out on $5,000 bond. All of this happened this last week. All of this happened last week. So if we are not coming to other conclusions about how to secure ourselves in the world, that we defaulting back to discussions about moral and peaceful demonstrations and shit, appealing to the morals of who? Of cannibals? That's all I got to say about that. This month is June. So much happened last night. I was up in here blown. I was studying while rewatching this series that I forgot how good it was. I was like, there's a reason they snatched this series up off here. There's a reason they snatched this here series up off this TV. I forgot how good the series was. Not only how good it was, how extremely creepily prophetic it was. The series was called Manifest. It's called Manifest, about a bunch of people who got on a plane, and the flight number was 828. And they get on the plane and they go through this storm and they finally land. And when they land, there's police everywhere and people everywhere on the tarmac or whatever. Come to find out, they think they was just on a 3-4 hour trip from Jamaica to the United States. Come to find out, they have been missing in action for 5.5 years. That they were presumed dead. Could never find a plane. No trace of the people. They just show up on the tarmac 5.5 years later. And not only is the series good, it is like the series is good. The acting, it's so rare to find like superb acting. I'm not talking about just good acting. I'm talking about, I forgot how good these characters were. The teenage girl, wow. The mom, whoa. The acting was really excellent. And I don't say that often. Y'all don't hear me say that often. I think movies have gotten pretty shoddy over the age. This show was really, really excellent. But not only was it excellent, I forgot how many times I cried, but not from like sadness or anything like that. How many times I cried because the creep factor, the creep in terms of like the prophetic, like symbolism. There was a scene in the movie last night. I was just rewatching the show last night. I think, let me see what year this shit came out. Because I was up in here like, what the, oh my God. Let me see. Let me just see what year this came out. Because I think me finding out what year this came out is probably going to make me even more creeped out. Because I was up in here subdued last night. I was like, what the, what? This shit came out. See, I told y'all this was gonna creep me out more. This show came out in 2018. This show came out in 2018. I don't know what made me start watching. I just started watching it again Friday night. Last night I got all these books laid out, some of which I'm going to read from for you tonight. But the first one I pulled out was this one. This was the first book I pulled out. This is called The Grandmother's Time. Wait, The Grandmothers of Time. The Grandmothers of Time. By what's her name? Susanna E. Budapest. She's real big in the goddess worshiping, right? So this book, I am just flipping through, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, because I never even cracked the spine of this book open when I pulled it out last night. I was like, oh, this is cool. I pulled it out. I was like, oh, okay, I like the cover. The subtitle is A Woman's Book of Celebration Spells, Sacred Objects for Every Month of the Year. I'd never even read the subtitle. I was like, I saw it on Thrift Books. Let me snatch that. And I never cracked the spine of the book open. I was like, all right, well, it is June. The new moon is Sunday. I was thinking about doing like a little something for the new moon. So I'm sitting here on the couch, then turned on this show, Manifest, which I watched years ago. I don't know why that was the thing that I decided to click on last night. So I'm going through the book. I turned because I didn't know that the book was separated by actual months. So I opened the shit to the month of June because we in the month of June. You feel me? And so I'm just scrolling through, not really even paying any attention. Okay. This show comes on. There is a scene in the show. Let me read you what I wrote when it happened. Yeah, this happened Friday. Let me read you what I wrote when this happened. I'm getting chills everywhere. Friday, June 12th, 2026 at 11:17 p.m. Watching Manifest, Season 1, Episode 13. While reading The Grandmothers of Time, while I'm watching Season 1, Episode 13, there's a little girl and a little boy. They are twins. But because the dad and the son went on a separate flight than the mom and the daughter, the dad and the son disappeared for 5.5 years on this plane. So when they come back, the daughter that is the twin to this little boy is 5 years older, but he remained the same age. So there's this dynamic between the boy and the girl where they're trying to reestablish this relationship that was very, very close when they were little. Now that there is literally a 5-year difference between the girl and the boy. Okay. The little girl, so the people that disappeared on the plane, they come back and they have abilities. They have the ability to see the future. They have the ability to hear things that are not actually there, that are driving them to go and intervene on behalf of the humans, on the behalf of the human race. So they solve mysteries. They rescue people. The first thing that happens is they start the numbers 828, and the first time it's referenced, even before they get on the flight, is the mom of one of the women that disappear. She say her favorite scripture is Romans 8:28. They get on a plane, that's 8:28. And so 8:28 is a recurring theme throughout the show, right? And so because there's this 5-year difference and the people come back from the plane have these abilities, the little girl who is the twin to the little boy is feeling some kind of way. She wants to be able to reconnect with her brother, but she feels left out because everybody is communicating about these visions and these interventions. They call it the callings, right? These callings that they get. And so she's trying to help her dad solve this mystery, okay, about his calling. And so he's got the, like the crazy conspiracy board down in the basement with the red string and the yellow string and the this and this and this and this, everybody that was on the plane and this and that and this and that. And she's like, I happen to be really good at symbols, Dad, if you want me to help. And so finally she wants to be able to help. And so he is like, yeah, tell me what you think. And so she is talking to him about this vision that he had on the site of a bombing. And at the site, right before the bomb goes off, the man sees a waking vision of a peacock with his plumage out, big, right? Fast forward, the little girl is studying for a test at school and drops one of her books on the floor, and the book opens to the exact same peacock, um, plumage, whatever, right? And he was like, "Oh my God." He said, "Tell me about this peacock. Why is this peacock in your book?" And she was like, "Well, this is my ancient mythology book for school." He was like, "This can't be a coincidence. This is the exact same peacock, like literally exact same peacock that I saw in my vision the day of the bombing." He's like, "So I remember that it used to be, it might have been about like immortality or something." She was like, "It's deeper than that, Dad." She said, the peacock is the totem animal of the goddess Juno. Is the what did she say? Is the totem animal of the goddess Juno, who June is named for, and she represents abundance and immortality and something else, right? As I have already opened the section in this book that I have never opened to June. I was like, "Oh my God, all this time I forgot that the month of June was named after the goddess Juno, right?" And so here I wrote in the book, because the little girl say that, I say, "Well, watching manifest, and the daughter of the protagonist talks to him about the goddess Juno and the peacock." And earlier today, I started writing about memory. Then I read about um oh she because she was saying something about the relationship. Oh, because listen. This is why. This is why. This is why. Because I wrote it underneath today's date. This was Friday. Okay. This was Friday, June 12th. This was Friday that I wrote this in reference to today's date. See, I was trying to see what June 14th had to say about this day, that we could divert the energy away from y'all president to something that is more specific to the goddess. Listen to what June 14th has to say in this book. As I was watching this on Friday with my mind wholly blown. Because I was just talking to y'all about this last week. Not only was I talking to y'all about this last week, I was talking to a client that I did a reading for who has 9 sisters. And I didn't even remember telling her this, but when we was checking in, she was like, "Yeah, you remember you was telling me that because I'm the 9th out of 9 sisters. Let me tell you what June 14th is. June 14th is the birthday of the muses in Greek mythology. Yes, even the muses had a mother. She was the goddess Mnemosyne. She was the goddess Mnemosyne, the goddess of memory, who was herself a muse. Her daughters brought humanity the joys of inspiration and, in a way, the age of technology as well. The 9 muses are Calliope, who is the muse of epic song. Cleo is the muse of history. Euterpe, who is the goddess of lyric song. Thalia, who is the goddess of comedy. Melpomene is the goddess of tragedy. Terpsichore is the goddess of dance. Erato is the goddess of epic poetry. Polymnia is the goddess of sacred hymns. And Urania is the goddess of astronomy. The creativity of women is the food of the spirit. Support the arts of women today. Stimulate your own creativity. When was the last time you went to see a play, do something cultural today that you have never done before? Break the chains of your old habits. I literally wrote this response about Mnemosyne and memory, and something came across my feed. Y'all know, y'all have seen me in real time for some time now complaining about my memory, how something, actually not something, I had attributed it to I had attributed to the fact that in 2022, I think, I had developed, I had contracted COVID. And my COVID wasn't respiratory. It was weakness. It was severe dizziness to the point that I was literally having to hold onto furniture from room to room to not fall on my face. That's how it came through. And ever since I had COVID, I've been having severe splotches in my otherwise epic memory, right? And y'all watch me. I will be struggling to recall words, right? And so I just assumed that it was the residual impact of COVID that I had never like fully recovered from, this declination in my memory. On the same day, Friday, earlier that day, I had already started writing about memory, right? Like saying to myself there were things that I needed to create for myself, exercises to create for myself, to regain my memory, right? I'd already started writing that early the morning before I got into this book. Then at around noon on Friday, I watched a short that just quote randomly came through my YouTube feed about the hidden signs of low level carbon monoxide poisoning. And 7 of the 10 symptoms of low level, like not sitting in your car, but like very low level exposure over a period of time of carbon monoxide poisoning. 7 of the 10 symptoms I have. 7 of the 10 that I have. Not only that, of the 7 of the 10 symptoms that I have of possible low-level carbon monoxide poisoning, the number one is declination in memory. I was like, have I been in this apartment being poisoned? Like, is that what's happening right now? Is that what I'm experiencing? Because this is the first time in my adult life I've lived in an apartment where your heating and cooking is provided by gas. I've never lived in a gas. Never in my adult life. I've never lived. That's not as big in the South as it is here, I don't think. But everywhere in the South, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, I've never lived anywhere where your heating and your cooking was not provided by electric, right? So I like cooking with gas, but everything, my heating, like there's a constant, like what you call it, thing right underneath where right down the hallway where my go into my bedroom, where this thing is constantly running because that's what's heating the gas. Heating the water. And that's also where when I need to use the heater, which is not often, it comes from. How about I read that day on carbon monoxide and my memory, among other things that have been happening to me that I attributed to other things, but 7 of the 10 symptoms that I might be, quote, suffering from low-level carbon monoxide poisoning, 7 of the 10 symptoms I have. So I have to get somebody in here because this happened at the end of the day on a weekend. So I have to get somebody in here tomorrow to figure out if I'm suffering from low-level carbon monoxide poisoning. It has not happened ever. Guess what happened not 2 hours after I read that article? The smoke detector in my apartment that also has a carbon monoxide component on it started going off Friday. Carbon monoxide, carbon monoxide, carbon. I said, what the fuck? What? Never. In the 6 years I've been in, never. So, of course, for the last 48, 72 hours, I've had every window in the place open, fans blowing in every room. Carbon monoxide detected. That happened same day. I said, listen, anyway, I know it doesn't seem related, but then I'm watching this show, and when they were having this discussion about this girl's intervention and Juno representing the month of June, but not only Juno representing the month of June, and the peacock being the totem animal of Juno. At the same time that this little girl is having this discussion with her dad, I'm getting chills everywhere. Same time that she's having this discussion with her dad's younger sister, who was also on the plane. Thank you, I think is thank you. I think it's you. Is it you? Thank you, Vertex Ninja, for your donation, dear. Thank you so much. And it doesn't say on the PayPal who. Oh, Cassandra Hole. Thank you for your donation. So at the same time that this little girl is telling her dad about the peacock that he saw in his vision, his sister, who was also on the plane, is off in a cave somewhere with this guy trying to investigate, because she's a cop trying to investigate something that happened to this dude. And there is this spontaneous electrical storm, lightning everywhere, and they come out of the cave and kind of climb up the side of the cave and see a petroglyph, like the little quote Stone Age cliff drawings and stuff, like the cliff drawings. And this quote petroglyph is of the constellation Gemini, the twins. Okay. And at the same time that this little girl is talking to her dad about Juno and June and the peacock, she is still talking, though you're looking at his sister and this random dude looking at the Gemini petroglyph. And she says, the interesting thing is, though, Dad, is that Gemini is the ruler of our entry into the month of June. And June 2nd, she said, how did I not see this? This is this little 15-year-old girl telling her dad, how did I not see this? Oh my God. He's like, what do you see? She tells her dad, who she's trying to help him understand this little conspiracy theory chart he got out, that her brother, and her aunt, who were all on that plane, are going to die on June 2nd of the year 2024. Now, mind you, this show was made, and I've got chills everywhere. This show was made or released in 2018. So in this show, where all these people disappear, are been gone for 5.5 years, that something has happened, and all of them have received visions of their tombstones in their future. That everybody who was on the plane has somehow cheated death. And so now they're all, after helping all these people and seeing all these visions, they all are seeing the same, quote, death date, where all of them are going to die that came back on the plane. 191 people. What is that? 9/11. 191 people died disappeared on the plane that came back 5.5 years later. 5.5 years into the future, to the day, they will all, quote, die. And so none of them knew that. Everybody kept trying to figure out what they were seeing. And she said, oh my God, Dad, it was here all along. How did we not see? She started streaming tears. She was like, you all are going to die June 2nd, 2024. And her mom was like, why would you say that? What are you talking about? She said, it's right here, Mom. The peacock, Juno, the month of June, the Gemini twins on the petroglyph. She was like, it was right here all along. The Gemini twins literally represent the number 2 in June. The number 2 in June. In history, whenever you saw the Gemini twins, they represented the actual second day of June. So you got June 2nd, the Gemini twins. And she said, I forget how she came. Oh, how was it that she came to the conclusion about the 2024? I forget. But she was like, oh my God, you guys are going to die on June 2nd, 2024. Her dad is over there. He's a math genius trying to crunch the numbers to figure out. And he was like, oh my God, she's right. These are the numbers. 5.5 years to the date that we return from this plane is when we're all going to die. And those numbers, add the numbers, divide the numbers, comes up to June 2nd, 2024. I got chills. I might need to go back and see what extraordinary happened on June 2nd of 2024. But anyway, that's the point in the show that I got to when I opened this book, trying to figure out what we were going to do for June 14th, which today is the new moon in your funky ass president's birthday. And then there was so much more that happened, but then next week is the solstice on June 21st, when the sun, and also the sun enters Cancer. So that's happening. I haven't read all of that yet, but that was really what I wanted to read to you from this book. This book is dope because it's basically talking about historically all the significant goddess dates. Let me just X out of this IG. Ain't nobody tuned in from IG. Ain't no point in keeping it running. Okay, let's see. This book is really dope though, because it just tells you the significance of these dates, based on goddess iconography. So, for example, next month is July, and she has. This book is old. This was written by Susanna Budapest in 1979. Okay, and in 1979, she has Athena for July as a short-haired Afro Black woman. This is Athena in 1979 in this book. I thought that was fire, right? I thought that was dope. So anyway, I haven't gotten to that yet either, but each month she has attributed to a different goddess, and then the iconography associated with the different days of that month. So that's all I wanted to read you from there, but it was because it was a very actively deep moment on Friday. Then there was another book I thought I was going to read to you from tonight, but I think I'm gonna save this and mark this page. But I'll show you the title of the book. And I haven't read anything from this book yet either, but I was looking through the table of contents last night because the cover just kind of stood out for me. Oh, dang. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like something I needed to read, so I might do it. I might just do it tomorrow because I'm going to read every day. But like I said, I'm just going back to the old format where I just read for an hour every day. And I'll do that twice a day, in the morning and then in the evening. So this book is called Witchcraft, Oracles, and Magic Among the Azande. Witchcraft, Oracles, and Magic Among the Azande. Okay. And so when I opened it up to look just through the table of contents, the chapter that I opened up to was chapter 3, and it is called Sufferers from Misfortune Seek Witches Among Their Enemies. I thought that was an interesting title. Sufferers from misfortune seek witches among their enemies. Here are some of the chapter titles. Witchcraft is an organic and hereditary phenomenon. The notion of witchcraft explains unfortunate events. Sufferers from misfortune seek for witches among their enemies. Are witches conscious agents? Witch doctors. Training of a novice in the art of a witch doctor. The place of witch doctors in Zande society. The poison oracle and daily life, problems arising from consultation of the poison oracle and other Zande oracles, magic and medicines, an association for the practice of magic, witchcraft, oracles, and magic in the situation of death. That's the end of the chapter titles for this book. So this again is witchcraft, oracles, and magic among the Azande. That one looks like it's going to be good. Not going to read from that though. And then this is another one I pulled out from last night. You see, I have bookmarked. I haven't read this one yet either, though Abasi has been kicking my ass about it, telling me I need to go ahead and get in it. But the chapter that I had pulled open to is The Emergence of Patriarchal Thinking. This book is the return of the Dark Light Mother, or New Age Armageddon, by Monica Zhu. Okay. Dang, man. There you go. The Return of the Dark Light Mother, or New Age Armageddon, towards a feminist vision of the future. I haven't read this book yet, but that was the chapter that I opened to. I'm not going to read that tonight either. And then another one I pulled out that I haven't read yet. But this is called The Once and Future Goddess, a sweeping visual chronicle of the sacred female and her reemergence in the cultural mythology of our time. This is by Eleanor W. Gadon. And this one is a pretty thick reference-esque type book, but just looks jamming. Just looks jamming. I told y'all I buy books way faster than I can read them. But this last week, I've been really, several of them have been really speaking out to me to open me. So this is one. Yeah, just beautiful full color and black and white images. The mother in different ages and different cultures in human history. Yeah, this is beautiful. And then I think I'm done. I think the last thing. Then it's one more. Oh, you know what? There's two more I need to talk to y'all about. This one is just a handbook that I got from the Philosophical Research Society by Manly P. Hall. What they've done is taken tons and tons of his speeches and broken them down into little like booklets, pamphlets, like like small booklet style stuff. But this one is called The Apocalypse Attributed to St. John by Manly P. Hall. The Apocalypse Attributed to St. John by Manly P. Hall. So this one is going to be one of the ones that I read to you. I can go ahead and tell you that the next full book that I am going to read to you that I had out, what did I do with it as I took it out? Oh, here it is. And I promised it last week, but this book is gonna be the one I read tomorrow, and it should only take a day, and it shouldn't even take an hour. I don't think, maybe an hour. But this one is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. This I'm going to read tomorrow. I'm going to read a bunch of short books first. So this one by Khalil Gibran, I'll read tomorrow. The next one I'm going to read after that, just because I'm interested. This may take a little longer, maybe a few days. It's 221 pages. But this is called The Labors of Hercules, an Astrological Interpretation. Remember, we talked extensively about that last week. The Labors of Hercules, an astrological interpretation. So after I read, that'll be the next one after The Prophet, and then we're going to read This Apocalypse Attributed to St. John by Manly P. Hall. We're going to read this one I feel like is currently relevant and necessary. We're going to read The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. This one should only take a day, not even. I mean, maybe an hour, 2 hours tops. So we're going to read The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I've been talking to y'all at great length, ad nauseum, about the secret relationship between the agents of the agents of the current personification of patriarchy as white supremacist and its relationship to dark occultic theology, if you will, particularly the Bhagavad Gita, the history of white supremacy in India. Remember, I've been talking to y'all about that a lot, especially within the context of the discussion about the cult of Sol Invictus. Well, I was like, since I keep mentioning it pretty incessantly, I found a kind of Cliff's Notes version of the Bhagavad Gita. So I'm going to read this one to you guys. It too should only take maybe 2 or 3 days, very short. So the very Cliff Notes English interpretation version of the Bhagavad Gita. We're going to read that. These are all the books I'm telling you over the next couple of weeks I'm going to be reading to you. Let's see. We'll probably regularly still be referencing the Women's Dictionary of Symbols and Sacred Objects and the Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. This one I pulled out to read to you guys. I don't know where I'm going to put it in terms of priority, but I really like this little pen. This is another one of I like this one a lot, actually. I've read this one already. The little brief workbooks of Manly P. Hall. This one's called Symbolic Essays, First Published Works of Manly P. Hall. I'll read that one to you guys. Ooh. There's another one that I pulled out. I don't know about that one right away, but that one's important. But yeah, I'm gonna start with a bunch of short ones. There's a couple. There's another one I've been considering reading to you guys. I've been considering, especially with a lot of the narrative happening about pulling out. I pulled it out already. Frantz Fanon's Wretched of the Earth. This one's a longer one, so I don't know where I'm going to place it in terms of priority. But I'm definitely wanting to read. Yeah, I'm definitely wanting, because I haven't read it in so many years, and I'm feeling like it's very culturally relevant. So I will determine in terms of priority of urgency when I'm going to read The Wretched of the Earth and his other work, which is Black Skin, White Mask. But this one is a priority even over that one. So we shall see. But it's over here close. I've just rearranged my books yet again to put those that are the most pressing, like, closer to me. Then there was one more. Oh man. But I can't see it right away. Yeah. That's enough to start with, at least. So yeah. So watch to your fill, because day by day you're gonna see stuff disappearing off my YouTube channel. Just so I can, first of all, get this stuff downloaded, and second of all, shift my whole process, shift my whole energetic process of how I'm dealing with my YouTube channel, so it can finally do for me what I need it to do in this weird space in between things. Okay, so that being said, this is a pretty good time. This is the shortest I've done in a long time. Like I said, 2 hours a day, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening to adjust for the time zones. It's going to be straight reading with the opportunity to participate in book clubs through Zooms. One non-reading live a week, and then get my Patreon up, and we'll see how it goes from there. All right. Hopefully there was something that you garnered from this live, and check out the Etsy store, daughters of the daughter period daughter of the fates .etsy.com, daughter of the fates, fates, daughter of the fates .etsy.com. If you want to support the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, you can do that by using the email address EvoEmeTemp at gmail.com. You can use that email to send a Zelle or a PayPal donation. That is EvoEmeTemp at gmail.com. You can also use that email to inquire about divination, either a 30-minute or a 60-minute divination session. Send an email, put divination in the subject header, and I'll tell you how to book a session. You can also go to the Etsy store again, Daughter of the Fates, FATES.etsy.com. DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. You can send a Cash App through $ Daughter of the Fates, FATES, or Venmo at Cassandra, CASSANDRA dash Floyd, FLOYD. And or you can become a paid member of my YouTube channel. I think there are like 6 tiers up in terms of ways that you can support. You can always send a live super chat or super thanks if you would like to do that. And that is all I have for this evening. Hopefully, you have a rest of the good new moon. We're still in new moon energy until around 9 p.m. today. It's now officially today. It's June 15th. And there's a lot of big energy moves happening in the last week of Gemini season, which is this week. So prepare accordingly. And I also want to remind you that we're still in a fire horse year. So the majority of your ceremony, especially now that we're transitioning in next week, we're transitioning into the heart fire season. The majority of whether your health and wellness protocol, your spiritual wellness protocol, your rituals, your your rituals and ceremonies and stuff should be ceremonies, nutritional adaptations should be the extreme opposite of the season that we're in. We are going into the heart fire season. We are still in a fire horse year, in the hottest season of the year. So your therapies, your rituals, your ceremonies should be heavily earth and water. Earth and water ceremonies, earth and water constitutional foods and nutrition, earth and what cooling rituals, ceremonies, mantras, cool, cold, water, earth, cool colors, blues, purples. This is the energy that you want to focus while you are in the hottest season of the year, in a year that is extremely hot astrologically and energetically. We're in a fire horse year, and we're in a fire horse year as for the first time in 12,000 years, all of the outer planets, all 5 of the outer planets are either in fire or air signs. Air is just as volatile because of all of the fire. So it's the combustibility of the fire in air signs. So earth and water, cool and cold, remedies, rituals, did it, cool colors, cool head, all of that should be your focus for the next 4 months, wherever you are. Okay? So hopefully that's helpful in helping you chart your traverse through the next few days as we enter into the as we transition from Gemini season to Cancer season. Take care of yourself. Plenty of good fresh water. Throw some cucumbers and some watermelon slices up in that joint. Keep a cool head. Do not let these monstrous malignancies attempt to take your head in some place that do not need to go. Be well, take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.